Hi kids, this is teacher Vidya. My aim is to make you all to describe the rise of the Marathas in the Deccan region. Who was Shivaji? Shivaji, the founder of Maratha kingdom, had a dream to become the ruler of Maratha region. He is remembered for creating a strong Maratha kingdom. While he was growing up, the power of Deccan sultans was on decline. He seized this opportunity and united the tribes of the region to build a small army and captured some regions of Bijapur. The Maratha power rose under the leadership of Shivaji. He employed the pastoralist Kunbi as soldiers in his army. With a highly trained army of guerrillas, he was able to acquire many territories. He came in direct confrontation with the Mughals when he attacked Surat in 1664. This was dealt heavily by Aurangzeb. However, Shivaji annexed Surat again in 1674 and proclaimed himself the king of Marathas and was titled Chakrabarti or Emperor. By 1680, he had created a strong kingdom which his successors and later Maratha Sardars expanded till the region of Delhi. He imposed taxes called Chauth and Sardesmugi on the neighboring kingdom to generate revenue to maintain his army and the kingdom. Shivaji's army probably knew this hilly region of the Deccan Plateau well that lends itself to adapting guerrilla tactics. It was easy to plan guerrilla attacks, sudden ambushes from heights, and quickly hiding in the hills. This turned out to be more advantageous to Shivaji than the Mughals. Also, attacking the suddenly from a height inflicted more pressure on people. Let's learn why the Singhs emerged as a powerful military group. Who are Singhs? The Singhs were the followers of Guru Nanak. They were simple peasants, but they were organized into military group called Khalsa by Guru Gobind Singh. The Singhs rose against the Mughals after Guru Tek Bahadur was killed by Aurangzeb and also due to atrocities caused by the Mughal officers on both the religion and on the collection of revenue. Prior to this uprising, Aurangzeb had cordial relationship with Singhs. In fact, he had employed Ram Roy and Guru Tek Bahadur in Mughal services. This changed when there was disagreement between the two over religious matters and the Guru was killed. This Khalsa group went from place to place in order to provide protection to property and people. In return, they sent manpower to protect the people. The Singhs were very angry with the execution of their Guru and also with the insensitive behavior of the revenue collectors, whereas the Marathas had challenged Mughal authority in order to grow an independent Maratha state. Let's learn the reasons for the Jat repulsion. Who was Churaman? Churaman was a Jat agriculturalist who belonged to the region of Delhi and Agra. He wanted to overthrow the Mughals from the region. He was supported by other Jat leaders to help him create a Jat state. The Jats were angry due to pressure of high revenues and they often had conflicts with local jamindars over jamindari rights or their temples being damaged. All these insults from the past kept simmering. They seized the opportunity after the death of Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb and they decided to create a region or a kingdom of their own. The Jats wanted a kingdom of their own. They saw their opportunity following the decline of the Mughals. They were also angered when their temples were destroyed and with increase in revenue rising the pressure on them and conflict with local jamindar. What is the basic need to run a newly formed state? To run a state, it is important to have effective administrative machinery which will look after the needs of people and generate sufficient revenue to carry out day to day duties. Shivaji divided his kingdom into branches and he had strong local self governments under a patel. He had a council of ministers called Astabradhan and a prime minister called the Peshwa. However, the backbone of the Maratha Empire was its army, which consisted a group of patriotists known as Kunbi and were commanded by a Senapati. The Singhs were a military group called Khalsa, instituted by Guru Gobind Singh. These groups were mobile and moved from one region to another to help people who needed their assistance. The Khalsa together were called Dal Khalsa, who would meet on Boy Sakti. And Diwali at Amritsar and pass resolutions regarding their religious and political matters. This Guru Mata system was like a central authority of the Singhs because Misal Das, the leader of the Jadas, were usually on the move and they were only under the rule of Guru. It was much later these groups formed a kingdom under the leadership of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. The region in which the Marathas lived was infertile, hence, they were unable to generate income for their expenditure. Slowly, after establishing a kingdom, they created a system of revenue wherein the neighboring kingdoms had to pay one fourth of their revenue to the Marathas to avoid their raids known as Chauth, and one tenth of the revenue if they needed assistance of the Maratha army in case of an attack. The rulers often had no choice and to maintain peace paid the revenue much to their dislike. On the other hand, the Singhs had to sustain the Dal Khalsa, which was ready to provide service to peasants who needed help. They would send a Raki and give 20% of the produce to the Dal Khalsa in order to protect life and property. Also, we should remember the significance of Ragi here, which was always tied in need of assistance or promise of assistance. The Marathas used their revenue to maintain their army and also introduced a system of agriculture. They revived trade and weaving and sale of chandiri, a new silk manufactured in the new trading centers like Pune and Nagpur, making the region prosperous, while the revenue from Ragi was used to fulfill the basic needs and their effort was to restore place which they achieved. Thank you so much kids.